Hello Intuitors, it's Aria here. Welcome to the Intuit Cafe. I'm going to be doing pick a card readings. And the reason I really love this tool is that it helps anyone tap into my ability as a card reader and then still using your own intuition to pick a reading that then will have the messages that are most applicable to you at any given time. When you have a really specific question, it's a lot easier for me as a card reader and an intuitor to get a little bit more accurate information. And then when you have that particular question come up for you, you have a whole bunch of different readings that you can choose from. Listen to your inner voice and then watch the reading. Your higher knowing will come through and basically in some way guide you to pick the right reading. So as I create these, I'll be using a lot of different kinds of intuitive tools, Lenormand, tarot, and some cartomancy with just regular playing cards. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching my channel, for liking and subscribing to it. I just really hope that you are as blessed by these tools that I'll be providing as I am to be able to provide them for you. So in this particular pick a card reading, I'm going to be using the playing cards again. And I'm doing the same reading that I just did. If you watched it already on my channel or not, I just did one where I did Aces High, and I'm going to do Kings High. And this is a really great way to come up with a really clear yes or no answer, but at the same time to also get detailed information about the situation so that if you did get a yes, for me it kind of helps even, you understand maybe some more insights into how even to move forward, or even just affirmation about what brought you to that yes or what is going to bring you to the yes, because I think in a lot of situations obviously you're asking a question where you haven't reached the yes yet, but that information will let you know kind of basically how that plays out. If you got a no in the end, it will also give you some detailed information about perhaps how you might be able to turn it around and still achieve a yes. In other words, like I feel like when these readings come out and when you look at it, you're in a situation where the vibration is not there yet. If you get a no, the vibration isn't quite there yet to get a yes. In other words, if you've set a course, you're a ship and you're going along and your destination is some ways out, that if you currently get a no, it means you're not on course to get a yes. But if you want to change that to still you really believe a yes is possible and you want a yes in your life in this question, then there will be some information in there on how to adjust your course so that then you can be on course to get the yes. In that same line, I'll have to say that if you do look at this reading and you get a yes, but then later on down the road, you're waiting, it's been 6 months, where's my yes? It could also be that your own course got shifted, because I believe that everything that we're manifesting ends up being something that comes into our experience because of wherever our vibration, where our frequency is at. And at the moment that you're watching this reading now, it will give you a pretty good and very clear, accurate information about where are you tuned in right now, and if you stay on that frequency, what's going to be the outcome. But if you change your dial and you dial into something different and you're tuning into different frequencies, then just because it was a yes right now when you're watching the video doesn't mean that you'll get the yes later on down the road, because you might have just changed your frequency for it. So that is one of the reasons that I think it's very difficult for card readers and people who are tapping into their intuition, because sometimes we'll second guess ourselves. We'll be like, well, I feel like at the moment that reading looked so accurate and it felt and it seemed very possible that would be the outcome, but then later on down the road it's not what happened. And I think that is because of how we can always be changing. We're the creators of our own reality, and we do that by manifesting through our thoughts. And if our thoughts, and we change our frequency with our thoughts, if that changes, then we'll get a different outcome. And I feel like even though kind of farther distance kinds of things can be something we can be generally tuned into, they're so far out there that it doesn't take much of a change in your frequency here that you change the trajectory. Like if you're sailing a ship through the ocean and you're aiming for an island, and it might be a pretty big island, like let's say New Zealand. It's a pretty large island. If you're going at it from a long way away, and you set your course right, you would think that it wouldn't be hard to miss. But if you're far enough away and you're just a few degrees off, or somewhere along the way, maybe you at one point were tuned into it, but then you changed your direction just by a degree or two, you could miss the island completely and then not even see it and not even know you blew right by it. So that's kind of how it is with our frequency and why things can change. So anyway, without any further ado, sorry for that little digression. Without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into this one. And this is a really fun pick a card reading to do if you're especially, I mean, you could use it for any yes or no question, but especially if you're asking a question about a guy or a gal that you're really into. So this is a good one for love, because we have all these, all the kings up here. I had thought about doing queens high, but it just gets a little confusing to me. So if it doesn't matter whether you're asking about a man or a woman here. If you're the man, then you're like, am I going to get the woman of my dreams? And if you're the woman, you're like, am I going to get the man of my dreams? Or if you're same sex, the person that is, carrying the opposite vibration as you as far as the polarity of masculine and feminine. All right, so what I'm going to be doing is I want you guys to pick a card for your question, and I highly recommend writing your question down. You can ask more than one question, and I do advise, however, that you keep your questions within the same topic. So, for example, you're like, am I going to end up, marrying this guy? And then you're going to see a yes or no for where things stand right now in that regard, but then you're going to like, well, I want to know if I'm going to date him. Or I want to know if we're going to have a business together. That could be some different questions that you could put here based on, some of the things you know about the situation. So while I'm shuffling, go ahead and whichever card you feel the most drawn to, write down your questions about it, and then we'll get started. And I will speed the video up in a moment, but first of all, I'm going to go ahead and show you the way we do the first deal. And because I started with kings, the next card that I'm looking for is queens in order to play, and it's very much like solitaire, except that the suit doesn't matter. We're only looking for the next person in line, so we would be able to play the queen on that row. And we're going to play 8 rounds. 8 rounds is how many is needed in order to get the most high probability of a 50-50 answer, that we get 2 yeses and 2 nos. Which is always ideal, and any kind of chance type of thing, although we know it's not only chance. All right, so we have a queen here as well, and I'm looking for a jack. I got a jack, and I have a 10, and I have a 9. So we got quite a ways on the first round on that one. We have no queen, so that one's done. We have 2 queens, but I'm going to start with the one on the left. And I don't see a jack, and so this one doesn't have a queen because we had 2 in the other one. We're going to go ahead and do it again, and I'm going to speed it up, and we'll see you at the end. We got to the end, and I ended up with 2 yeses and 2 nos, and I will just have to say I'm super excited to read this one here, because as it was going along I was like, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, so we'll start with this guy here and see who got a yes on the Ace of Spades, and it was the King of Hearts. So whoever put their money on the King of Hearts for a yes, you got a yes in the end. Now, I will have to say that it does look like that yes. So if some of you are still into this and it is not yet there, very interesting what comes up, because you don't get the yes until there's an ending of a partnership, separation ending to a stale situation, a scandal or is possible. I feel like whoever this person is, I think you're very likely in a third-party situation, and either you or them are with someone else at this time. And it does look like the yes comes forth. All right, so let's take a look. First of all, you're matched with a King and Queen of Hearts, and that is a love match for sure. That's just really beautiful to see. If it is about a love situation, if it's a business situation, then you're well paired, you're well matched. You both are passionate about whatever it is you're doing. You very likely could be somebody who is into saving the world in some way, or you're really on divine mission in some way with this person. Some things that happen here, you have someone, the Jack of Diamonds here comes up as someone who's deceitful or who has lost their way and is still searching for their place in life. So it does feel like there's someone, and it could be it was the king or the queen in the situation, or it could be someone else. It could be that third party person that was deceitful. Or maybe one of you were deceitful in a third party situation. Maybe one of you weren't honest about it in the beginning of this connection. We do have a business and family situation that is secure, and then also a trip could happen. So if you guys, I would say that if this is that third party love situation, it's not saying that that's the situation that's secure, because something's going to come to an end in order for this love to come forward. I feel like it's saying this is secure. This situation right here is secure. And even though it might not seem like it at the moment, things are secure there. Now, to analyze the rest of this, we have a lot of clubs and hearts and 1 diamond. And in general, and also the same thing here, we had diamonds, hearts. Of course, the hearts are about love. It's about emotional connection. The clubs are about passion, and the ability to get things done, creativity. It corresponds with fire sign. The diamonds is like the earth sign. And so there's a lot of heart, there's a lot of love, there's a lot of passion here. It does say that it's not a good time for risks right now and conserving your finances and planning wisely for the future. I think really what's happening is you've got this person, one of you in the third party situation, you know that this marriage or this long-term relationship that you're in needs to end. The long-term relationship with the deceitful person, it needs to end. And if for some reason you picked this one and you're not in that third party situation with this, please set that aside, because you still got your yes here. I'm just speaking to what I do feel is a segment of you who picked the reading for that. If you weren't in that, there was somebody that was in this situation somehow, if it's a business or something, that wasn't out for the best interest, but it's still saying that things are going to work out okay, and it's just not a good time to make risks. It does talk about forgiving and leaving a situation. It does say that you need to forgive, that leaving your situation will cause regret. You need to face your problems and consider a second chance. So if it was that third party love situation, that needed to be gone through. Whoever, if you're still right now in this and you haven't gotten the yes yet, I feel like it's in this stage right now where it hasn't been a good time to take risks. They needed to give that second chance for whatever reasons. And if it is business situation, then just keeping that in mind too, that right now is not, don't leave the situation. You might feel right now that if you're in a business situation that, it doesn't look so great at the moment, that you would have regrets, because obviously this person gets the yes. So, hang on to it for right now. And then it talks about persevering and having determination in order to have profits and future gains. And it does talk about somebody, new friends and associations, and some kind of important future event will take place with unexpected good fortune. So I feel like this is still coming up, and this is like the pivot point for this situation to go from, kind of stale, not really moving forward, to just things happening. It does talk here about adapting to the challenging circumstances, and that you need to challenge yourself, make a clear plan so that you make sure the situation doesn't get worse. So don't just leave it all to chance. There is something for you to do here. It does talk about there being some possible quarrels and even wasted time and energy. So be careful of that. And then now it says time to act. So this could be just coming in the future, maybe even right now is a time for you to act, because there will now come an ending to a partnership. Separation or scandal is possible, and there might be some denial in it. And then a new relationship or project that requires your undivided attention. So if this was about a business situation, I do feel that depending on how you worded your question, it could be you've been in a really bad situation with this deceitful person and you stuck it out. You wanted to make sure that you gave second chances where you needed to. You made a plan and everything, and now it's just saying, you know what, yes, it is time. Like you might have asked, is it time for me to leave this situation? And the question says, yes, it's time to end the partnership because there's a new project or relationship that will require undivided attention that's coming up. And so it is time to, to let this whole thing go and start anew. If it was a relationship situation and you ask the question, do I need to leave this partnership or this relationship that I'm in? Then very clearly that's yes, because of how it talks about ending a partnership. If you said, is this the right person for me? You got a yes. And it does feel to me like that's probably those of you who have been in a situation with somebody, either third party, or maybe that person was really attached to someone or some situation that was really negative. So in a sense, that's a third party as well. A lot of times we think of that third party just being like the husband, the wife, or someone who's cheating on a committed, on the other person in the committed relationship. And it also can just be that thing that just takes too much of someone else's time and energy, so they're not really devoting all of their time and energy to their partnership that they should. So in the end, if that's your question, is this person right for me? Should I stick this relationship out? Then whatever was the third party in the way, whatever it was that was separating the two of you from really fully having union, because there is a union of hearts here, then that is going to go away, and you can like basically have a new start in this relationship. All right, I know that was quite a long reading about that, but I hope that that was helpful. Now let's take a look at this one, and this didn't hardly even get off the ground. We have Queen and Jack of Clubs. Oh, and King of Clubs. Wow. Okay, so my feeling here is that for most of you who asked this question, it is way too early. You just met this person if you're asking about a love situation. It is way too early if you're talking about business or something like that. You haven't even really set the course yet. You're like, you haven't even started the engines on this thing yet. And so, Spirit may just be saying, hey, we're not wanting to even tell you yes or no, because there's so much more that you need to explore before you get that answer. But things are really, that's a good flow. There's a good start here. There is a good match. But again, this answer is truly a no. So if some of you just asked yes and no, and you just want the no or the yes, then there you go. It's a no. Now, this one is also a yes. And this is the one I can't wait. Oh my goodness, King of Diamonds and Queen of Diamonds. Wow. We had matched pairs on every single one of these. I have not seen that happen yet. Okay. So we had matched pairs. The two of you, if this is a partnership question, the two of you are truly, of the same heart, the same mind, simpatico, soulmates, whatever you want to call it, divine partnership, divine relationship. There's a reason for you having met. But things in this relationship, oh my goodness, will you look at that? If you were playing poker right now and you had that hand, you would have, that would have been crazy good. But anyway, in this relationship, I was looking at this and I was totally convinced, first of all, that they wouldn't even get to an ace, but they did. And then I'm thinking, well, if they do, it's going to be like one of those really brutal situations where I'm like, no, or maybe the way you worded it, is this person, is this person bad for me? And it's clearly a yes. If you asked, is this person bad for me? It's clearly a yes. And this is why. Spades are, in general, negative, painful cards. Not every one of them is, and we'll get a look into that. They're in general negative, painful cards, but I want to talk about it from another perspective, because there's some of you out there who this is your situation. You met this person, and there was instant recognition of this soulmate connection, of this deep love. You were like on the same wavelength all the way, but immediately, like before it even got off the ground, like it might have just been a one-night stand kind of thing, or a one-time meeting, or you met online and but you do like this amazing connection, and then all of a sudden you guys just hit choppy waters, and it has been really rough ever since. And I feel like many of you might still be in this, place of it just being super rough, but we have a shift here where it says achievement and success after hard work. And oh my God, was it ever hard work? And a celebration is indicated. And then you get to where you've got love. You have a joyful, and I'm actually going to turn this over. That was the negative side. I don't care. We're going to turn it to the positive side, because that's how this one ends. I feel it. There's a joyful outcome after a difficult phase. Celebration with family and friends, and you are on an amazing positive path. This also corresponds to the Three of Cups in the tarot, which talks about just joy, celebration, so much love overflowing. It can mean a third-party situation, but I don't feel like that in this situation is what it's talking about. If there was, it's over and done with. It is. You guys are in beautiful space. New relationships, possibility of a binding contract or agreement between the two people, marriage. All is harmonious, and get this, Ace of Diamonds. This guy gets down on his knees and he proposes, because the Ace of Diamonds is the diamond ring. Now, it doesn't mean that's the only thing it is, but I just felt it when I saw this spread. I'm like, oh my God, and I didn't even know we had the King and the Queen of Diamonds, right? And I saw all that hardship, and then I saw it shift, into 3, 2, you know, hearts, and then the ace of diamonds, because I was hoping it would be the ace of hearts at the end. But then when it came out ace of diamonds, I'm like, oh my goodness. Success in your new enterprise. Money is indicated. Prosperity and financial security. A letter or a ring. New hope. So if you guys, oh, I'm getting goosebumps. If you guys picked this one here, if you picked the king of diamonds, then this is a yes, and this guy or this gal is like your destined partner. It was meant to be. And if you haven't gotten there yet, if you're still in the spades, oh, I need to read the spades. I got so excited about getting to the end. All right, so this Jack of Spades is it just talks about his personality and characteristics. It's positive, but he has a sharp tongue, and he could be a bearer of bad news. So I feel like that was the beginning. Like right after you guys first met, then suddenly there was a bearer of bad news. It might have been the other person, it might have been someone else, or it might have just been the situation. The situation flipped. There was misfortune and worry. But it does say to make decisions even if they're wrong, because the situation will resolve itself. There's just no excuses. Small problems become even more complex, amplified mental anguish, bad luck in all things, bleak circumstances, fear of troubles and disappointment ahead, stuck in a situation with no resources to change, difficulties for an acquaintance as a result of deception or trickery from you. Respond quickly to repair your actions. Now, that may or may not have happened from you. It might have been the other way around. But again, there's just a lot of tough stuff. And then it does say here, this is good. You are thinking in a new way with improvement in circumstances. Expect some delays. And then it says your state of depression and feelings of hurt and anger leave you discouraged. But look past anxieties, eventual success. So here we saw just this little bit of shift. You're shifting a little bit, things are tough and you're feeling depressed, but there will be eventual success. And then we got the achievement and the success after the hard work. So like it really happened, it flowed into that. And if you or any of you are still stuck in this situation, you're still on a trajectory to end up in this situation with this person again. However, I will say that can be something that shifts and changes depending on what you do, because you are still, like, you're creating your own destiny by your thoughts. So really watch your thoughts. So this one, we also had a matched pair, King of Spades and Queen of Spades, the Jack of Hearts, the 10 of Clubs. It does talk about carrying a burden and a heavy load with a lot of responsibilities, and make sure that everybody's doing their part. So I feel like this is a no, partly because it's just a really heavy project. It's a tough situation. Whatever's going on there is difficult. So that's a no. Well, that's all I have for that reading. That was really, really fun to do. I think I'm going to record a few more of these, because you can see, you get your yes, you get your no, but then you get so many great details about the situation. So these are a really great tool. Try doing them for yourselves, and stay tuned for more. You guys have a really great day, and we'll talk to you soon.